Assalamu alaikum everybody, welcome back to this amazing series where we're going to be building projects to help you and me get a job. If you download from the GitHub, you will see an app called AI Gym Buddy Go. Inside of that you would have client and then $, and you have some Go files, and if you're a Go developer you do know what they do. So you have a mod file that keeps a check of all of your packages, and a sum file that has all of those packages, your main.go file obviously, and your personalities, and it also has a service. Now let's go over the main.go file. We have multiple packages. We have begin as our HTTP router. We are using Course because we have a browser application. We are using this alpha version of OpenAI. It's fairly new for Go, and we have another OpenAI package. Now the first line 13 and line 15, we are initializing a client using OpenAI, the namespace or the package or the module, dot new client. OpenAI also has multiple other options, but we are initializing a new client and passing it an API key. Now you should not pass an API key just like that, especially if it's a public application. GitHub will actually really yell at you that you're exposing these API keys. Now what you can do is use something called environment variable, but for this tutorial I am not going to be using anything like that. We have the GIN router here, and then we're using the course because with browser application we need course. We create a endpoint. We are using parameters using the ctx.param. What it does, if let's say you go to this endpoint and you say chat slash I'm feeling sick, help me, this will use this message as your provided text. If the length of the message is 0, we return a 400 bad request. If that's not the case, we pass it to the chat function. Now let's go to the chat function. The chat function, by the way, takes in the message again and a client. How does the chat function work? The chat function takes in the text, the message, and the OpenAI client initialized in the root. It also returns a string or an error. Now the chat completion is a built-in function in the client. If you go client.chat and then completions and you create a new completion, this does require a context and then some parameters. Do remember, underneath all of this is a OpenAI API call. It's just another HTTP call. That's it. So you're passing in some headers and some body and nothing else, and it's all a wrapper around that. So it uses a message. The message is the prompt plus whatever text. Now if you go to the prompt files, there's multiple other prompts. I've got the current one, Peter Griffin. I've provided some personality, some speech patterns, some cat phrases, and just explain how my character is supposed to be. And then I provide the user message. In the model section, I've provided OpenAI.ChatGPT 3.5 Turbo. I can also change it to any other model. There's multiple other options. If you go chat model, you can see there's so many options you can choose from, but I'm just going to keep it the same. If there's no error, you should return the chat completion and the content, and there should be no errors, so return a nil. Back in the main file, we check for errors. If there is, return the text, and if there's not, we return data and text and run the router, and that's quite literally it. Now I am not going to be going in depth in the UI section for the client, but I'm going to be going over the code. All of these message in the chat client. If you go in the src/app, there is a function that scrolls to the bottom that keeps everything tidied up. So if you enter a new message, it's gonna push it down to the bottom. There is a input message that's just the placeholder. And then there's a loading animation, quite literally the most simplest piece of UI, so I'm not going to go over. If you just read through the code, you should be good to go. Now, one more time, let's look at how everything works together. We are at the end of the video, and thank you guys so much for watching. I would really request everyone to drop a follow and like, because this helps me grow and I can push content out like this, and I can push open source code for you guys so you guys can maybe copy and learn, because I'm a big believer of you can learn by example and do it. Now if you guys like this type of content or you guys want something else, drop a comment down. I need feedback to make good content. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a nice day.